Good morning, and thanks again, Carl. Welcome to Second Unitarian Church. I'm John Broom, a member of the church's Board of Trustees, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. In response to COVID-19, we at 2U are doing our part in slowing the spread of the coronavirus. We're continuing to meet virtually using Zoom. You'll notice that there's a chat feed available for you to interact with, and you're welcome to use this to say hello to one another and share your joys or concerns when we reach that time in the service. When we would traditionally sing together and read things in unison, you're encouraged to do so as well, even though you are on mute. Our voices echo through the world, so we might just hear one another if we listen closely and sing with our full spirits. As things continue to change, we will be paying close attention to the recommendations of public health officials and respond as quickly as possible. And at this time, we recognize physical distancing as an act of love and protection. We especially welcome our newcomers this morning. During this time of pandemic, finding a new community and making new connections can be challenging. Please know that we're excited to have you and look forward to getting to know you. But if you're new to us today, you're welcome to note that up in the chat. And if you'd like to register your child for classes, please reach out to Alicia Obando, our Director of Faith Development. Our worship today is led by the Reverend Aisha Enoso, along with Worship Associate Don McGregor and Ryan, our chalice lighter. Our music is provided by our interim music director, Carl Kennedy, along with Jim Simonis, John Houck, Rhonda Kenneman, and Miranda Dean. Alicia Obando is leading the time for all ages. Our tech team members are Amanda Thompson, Harris McKee, Dan Ashley, Christy Grant, John Houck, and David Martin. Now, I have a couple of announcements for you this morning. The first one, Second Unitarian Church, in conjunction with UU Prison Ministries of Illinois and Black and Pink, has supported Jamie Miller. We formed a mutually supporting relationship with Jamie, and he's now employed by the Workers Center for Racial Justice. It's a nonprofit organization founded by formerly incarcerated individuals. Jamie's been out for about a year and a month, and he's able to take care of himself and his family. Now, next Wednesday, that's April the 4th at 6:30, the Workers Center for Racial Justice is having the Safety and Liberation Forum, which will be located at 2226 East 71st Street at the Ballroom. We encourage everyone to please come to this forum and hear what we have to say as far as our introduction to the community. We need your support so that we can be the voice of change, not just speaking about it, but actually making things happen. Refreshments will be served, and for more information or to coordinate transportation, contact Pip Paris 312-622-5656. Jimmy says, if it wasn't for the people of this congregation, now and former, I would not be where I am today. I thank you dearly, and I need you to support this effort, end quote. And I hope you have time for one more. Reverend Jason will be out the first part of August on medical leave. He anticipates returning on August the 17th and returning to our pulpit on August the 22nd. Now, if he could return to a desk full of paper get well and welcome back cards, I suspect that it would raise his spirits even more. Please mail or drop off the cards at church, 656 West Berry. You can find more announcements and additional information in the order of service, but now I welcome Don McGregor to lead our call for worship.
We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a community of children, youth, and adults, a people of many beliefs and traditions, bound not by the specific list of things we believe, but the values we share. Whether you are joining us for the first time or for the 1,000th time, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God some of the time, all the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. Whatever your race, whomever you love, whichever way you move in the world, however much money you have in your pocket, you are welcome here. I invite you, as you feel ready, to take a breath in and out. As the music begins, let us enter into our service together.
In just a moment, Ryan will light our chalice, the symbol of our faith. We light our chalice this morning with these words by the Reverend Marta Valentin. Be still with me and enter into the crescent fold of my arm as I gather you to this time and space. Wind your thoughts like a river toward the center of who we are. This morning as one body and out among others in the world. Be still with me and enter into this celebration of resiliencies and resurrection. For we are vessels eternally rising out of the water, alive with a purpose and strength unknown to us. be still with me and enter quietly into this place of unbound love and gratitude. Ryan, would you please light our chalice?
Please join me in singing our opening hymn, 1040, Hush. The words are on your screen. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do?
Please join me in reciting our covenant. The words are on your screen. We covenant to build a community that challenges us to grow and empowers us to honor the truth within ourselves. We will be generous with our gifts and honest in our communication, holding faithful to a love that embraces both diversity and conflict. Called by our living tradition, we will nurture spirituality within a vision of the eternal, living out our inner convictions through struggles for justice and acts of compassion. Now please join John, Jim, Rhonda, and Miranda in singing our congregational hymn, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow sea, moving the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning. This is the time that your kids want to be in the room so they can hear the story. So if they're not yet with you, have them join you. Today's story is called The Quiet Place. It's by Douglas Wood. Sometimes, oh, that's so small. Sometimes a person needs a quiet place. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to get out the book because those words are too tiny for me to read. A place to rest your ears from bells ringing and whistles shrieking and grown-ups talking and engines roaring and horns blaring and grown-ups talking and radios playing and grown-ups, well, even grown-ups need a quiet place sometimes. But it can be hard to find one. You have to know where to look. You could look under a bush, a lilac bush in your own backyard. When you crawl underneath it, all the sounds of the world seem soft and far away. And you can be a pirate finding buried treasure on a desert island. A bush could be your quiet place, until someone calls you to clean your room. And then you could look in the woods. You might find an old stump for a chair or a mossy log for a couch in a green mansion of shadows and sunbeams. It's not really quiet, of course. Blue jays scream warnings and wind sings in the leaves, but it feels quiet. And you can be a timber wolf, the gray ghost of the forest. The woods could be your quiet place. But if the woods are too dark and deep, you could look by the sea, on a beach in the early morning fog. Your footprints are the first of the day. The waves are roaring and the gulls are crying, but it doesn't seem noisy. And you can just be an explorer, discovering a lost continent. The beach could be your quiet place. But if the beach is not your cup of tea, you could look in the desert, where old man Cigarro reaches for the sky and far off thunderheads bloom like sky flowers over the mesas. A cactus wren drops by for a visit, while a horned toad blinks in the sun. And you can be a Pony Express rider galloping through the Old West. The desert could be your quiet place. But if the desert is a bit too dry, you could sit by a pond. A heron by the shore stands still as a tree branch, and the water is so calm it looks like a mirror. Then a frog plops from a lily pad, and your face begins to wiggle. And you can be the world's greatest fisherman, reeling in a monster catch. A pond could be your quiet place. But if the fish aren't biting, you could look in a cavern where every footstep echoes, echoes, echoes. And the slow drip, drip of water builds new rocks that hang like icicles or stand like sculptures, where days and nights and weeks and years are all the same. And you can be a cave dweller in the lair of the saber-toothed tiger. A cave could be your quiet place. But if a cave is too cold and damp, you could climb to the top of a hill where clouds float by like ships or alligators or elephants. On a hilltop, you can see a long way and think long thoughts about how and what and why. And you can be a mountain climber on the top of the world. A hilltop could be your quiet place. But if your legs are too tired for climbing, you could wait for a snowy day and lie down in a snowdrift. All around you, falling snow whispers, shh, and wraps the world in silence. If you listen closely, you can almost hear it breathing. You breathe softly too, pretending to be a polar bear sleeping in a land where the snowy silence never ends. A snowdrift could be your quiet place. But if it's too warm for snowdrifts, you could visit a museum where brass tigers and bronze lions stand silent guard over fabulous treasures. Every painting is a magic window that your own imagination can open wide and climb through. And you can be an artist admiring your own masterpiece. A museum could be your quiet place. But if the museum is closed for renovation, you could go to a secret corner of the library where the only people talking are between the covers of books. They speak so softly you can only hear them in your head as you read about forests and oceans and deserts and caverns and museums and 1,000 other things. A library could be your quiet place. But if the library isn't open yet, you could come home and clean your room and read your own books and think your own thoughts and feel your own feelings and discover the very best quiet place of all, the one that's always there, no matter where you go or where you stay. The one inside of you. That's the end of our story. And I hope you all can find your quiet place where you can think your thoughts and feel your feelings. Thanks.
Alicia almost described my trip to Joliet there. Each year, we all make a commitment, a pledge to support the ministry of our church. In addition to this contribution, each Sunday we take a collection so that we can share with those doing justice to beyond our church community. While we are unable to come together in person, you can still share your resources. To make a contribution, you can send a text and follow prompts. We will have the number on your screen as the music plays for the offertory. For the month of August, we are sharing our plate with One Northside. This morning, we will hear some words from senior organizer and friend of 2U, Chris White.
Thank you. One Northside is a mixed income, multi-ethnic, intergenerational organization that unites the diverse communities across Chicago's North Side, building collective power to eliminate injustice through bold and innovative community organizing. My name is Chris White. I am the husband of longtime 2U member Atina Danner. 2U member Doherty Hester and I are two of the 3 housing organizers at One Northside. We come to you on the day after the end of the eviction moratorium, as we, with the help of volunteers like Jim Simonis, urgently work to pull people together to resist eviction and displacement. But also on a different note, I come to congratulate you. 2U has been a major part of the work we did towards winning the passage in July of the ECPS ordinance. This ordinance is now being called the strongest civilian police oversight law in the country. Some of the work on ECPS could only be done by a church with values like you in this part of town. The threat to boycott Alderman Tunney's restaurant was only credible from members of churches like you. The rumor is that Alderman Smith finally insisted the mayor engage in good faith negotiations on the ordinance after feeling community pressure on the north side from people like you. The ECPS victory is now part of the church's legacy. We urge you to continue to invest in this legacy with your money, time, and energy. In addition, we invite you to get in touch with us as we are planning and hope you will enroll in our upcoming organizing skills trainings. Thank you.
Now I invite you to join me reading our offertory words. The words are printed in your order of service and are on your screen. This church is a community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm it and enable its participation in the larger world around us. The offering will now be generously given and gratefully received.
I invite you now to join me in a spirit of prayer and of reflection. Divine Spirit, God in everything, whose name is inscribed on our hearts, here we are. Here we are exactly as we are, with all our hopes, fears, intentions, dreams, mistakes, fully human, no more and no less. How wonderful, how terrifying. We breathe in and we breathe out. Holy One, so much of this world is restless. We find examples of injustice all around us over and over. Misinformation spreads and is elevated. In the midst of a pandemic, we worry for those we love and for ourselves, and we grieve those who have died. We yearn for time together, and we yearn for justice, and we yearn for rest. Our people and our communities are tired and worried and fed up. And in the midst of it all, Spirit, life keeps happening. The ebb and flow, the give and take, the back and forth of our lives continues as always. cycles leading to cycles, ever widening circles, swirling. We breathe in and we breathe out. Spirit of our lives, be with us. Be with us in the joyful moments of celebration and in the painful moments of grief. Be with us in the ordinary moments of life as they add up and up and up, building themselves into the fullness of a human life. We breathe in and we breathe out. Spirit of life, help us to continue building and maintaining connection and community, even when it may feel harder because of the distance between us. Help us to keep moving through this thing that we call life, moment by moment, experience by experience, together. We breathe in and we breathe out. I invite you to join me in a moment of silence, a moment to recognize all that is and was and will be in our lives, and to breathe in and breathe out. Amen.
Presenting the concerns and sorrows we are holding. As the music continues, I invite you to share your joys and concerns in our chat window.
We hold all of these joys, celebrations, sorrows, and struggles close to our hearts. Don McGregor will now share our first reading.
Our first reading is Expect Life by the poet Elizabeth Tarbox. Do not live too far in the past or the future. Live now. In each moment, expect a miracle. 10 kinds of birds at the feeder and the tracks of a fox in the snow. Pick up a magnifying glass and scrutinize that crocus. See the pollen at the center of the daffodil. Life's dust, death defying life. Be astonished at the flower, arrested by its beauty. Hey, run naked through the garden early in the morning and hope the wild geese fly by. Get silly and laugh loudly with your grandchildren or your grandparents. Refuse to leave the dead behind, but bring their memory to all your chores and games and the corners of quiet, warm tears. Know always that joy and sorrow are woven together. One cannot be without the other. If you love, know that sometimes your love will bring you tears. If you grieve, know it is because at some time you were willing to love. Do not be afraid to die today, but expect life.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Oh, beloveds, the world is a lot right now. Whether you get your news from push notifications on your phone, or you listen to the radio in your car, or a podcast while you do the daily dishes, you watch the nightly news, you get it through osmosis on social media or text from those you love. It is a lot right now. Every day, every hour, it seems like every minute, there is something new happening in the world, another gut-wrenching story. We are over a year into this pandemic and carrying everything that this has meant in our bodies and what it means to live in a world that has been changed. We are holding things from the personal to the global that we are thinking about, and there are things deep in our souls we might have even forgotten. It is so easy to feel this chip away at our hearts, at our souls, at our bodies. We yearn for the ability to be together in community with our people. We may feel overwhelmed. There's so much going on, so much to pay attention to, so much to address, so much to try to do. I am feeling and worrying about and trying to grapple with so many things. And I imagine that may be true for you too. And given all of that, there is only one thing that I can say to you this morning. You must take care of yourself. You must take care of yourself. In the wake of everything happening in our country and around the world, in the midst of a pandemic and police brutality and so much else, taking care of ourselves is vital, it's revolutionary, and it is necessary. It's not a frivolous extra thing that we should do when we can squeeze in the time. Taking care of ourselves is crucial grounding work for getting through everything. And giving ourselves the space and time to rest and helping to create space for others to rest and care for themselves is revolutionary work. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? These words are the lyrics to the song Loosen, Loosen by the musician Ali Halpert. I come back to them over and over again. The song itself is simple and repetitive. It layers over itself in this beautiful way. And listening to it and singing it brings me back into the space that it is naming. Loosen, loosen, let go, let go, let go. Holy breath, holy name. Let go, let go, let go. Beloveds, when there is so much, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Can you let go? Have you heard of the NAP ministry? It's a project of Tricia Hersey that started in 2016. And she describes the NAP ministry as an organization that examines the liberating power of naps. And she says, we believe rest is a form of resistance. It's a powerful reframing of the ways in which we think about work and busyness and rest in our culture. I follow the NAP ministry on Instagram and Twitter, where they post short reflections, interviews, graphics, all sorts of things. And whenever they show up in my feed, I stop, I read them, I reflect on them. Even just following the account has helped add just a little bit more rest to my day. In one of her posts, Hersey says, rest is not a cute little luxury item you grant to yourself as an extra treat after you've worked like a machine and are now burned out. Rest is our path to liberation, a portal for healing, a human right. Rest as a human right. What a powerful concept. And rest doesn't just have to mean naps. It's about taking time to slow down, to connect with yourself and others. Praying can be rest. Lingering over a delicious meal or drinking tea on the couch while you read a book, that can all be rest. And you may be thinking, well, that sounds nice, but I definitely don't have time to do this, Reverend Aisha. And I think you may know what I'm going to say to that. That means you absolutely need to do it. Resting and slowing down is a political protest, Hersey reminds us. Amidst everything that calls for us to keep going, keep working, push harder, do more, it really is an act of resistance to take the time to rest, to find those quiet places in our lives and in ourselves, to build communities who care for each other. And if you still don't think you have time for it, consider this reminder from Hersey. She says, if you can't imagine or envision a way to rest for 15 to 30 minutes a day, then how will you be able to imagine or envision a world without police terror and with equality for all? If your imagination cannot allow for spaciousness, for rest, how will it allow for brand new ways of being in the world and for brand new worlds? Change always starts from within. This sense of urgency, this need to rush from one thing to another, to constantly be moving and doing, this is a trait of white supremacy culture, which tells us we only matter if we are being productive. We can only be good if we are busy. We are only worthy if we do everything, do it quickly, and do it efficiently. Now, I don't want you to think that me telling you this is because I am great and perfect at it. I too fall into this cycle of busy and doing and making things happen. And I keep trying to remind myself to slow down, to rest, to go into my garden and just be there. So I am giving you permission to rest. In fact, I'm telling you, you must rest. Replenish yourself, rejuvenate yourself. There is no way you will finish all the work, even if you run yourself ragged. And so instead, take moments for lingering. Take moments for joy, for contemplation, for rest. This is how we prepare to keep doing the work that must be done. One of my favorite podcasts in the world is called Another Round. It's now canceled, but it was hosted by Tracy Clayton and Heaven Nagatu. And in a newsletter in the summer of 2016, Tracy shared a guide for self-care in the wake of the murders of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile. And unfortunately, it is all too relevant still today. In this guide for self-care, Tracy reminds those reading to take a break, to ignore the trolls online, to find something to smile about, to come back when we're ready, and to love. Hug your parents, she says. Text your bestie. Take your son or daughter or niece or nephew on a date. Tell them that they matter, that they are important no matter what the rest of the world would have them believe, that we are powerful and strong, even when they feel helpless. Check on your loved ones, see how they're holding up. Let them know you're thinking about them and that you're glad they exist, and do the same for yourself. Do these things because your loved ones may not be remembering to take care of themselves. Do these things because they need to know you love them, that you care, and that they matter. Do these things because it is easier for people to love themselves when they know other people love them. It is easier for us to loosen and let go when others are there to remind us, to catch us, to hold us. So be that person for others and let them be that person for you. If it is hard to find moments of rest, bring others into the process with you. Build in walks with friends, phone calls from the garden with those you love, shared meditation or prayer with your beloveds. So, dear ones, what loosening might bring you peace right now? What form of rest brings you joy that you do not engage in enough? I invite you to place a hand on your heart and one on your gut, and to close your eyes if that feels comfortable to you. Feel your body, feel your breath, and let yourself answer this question. What moments of rest are you yearning for? And whatever just came to mind for you, how can you make that happen? Maybe you'll let a beloved know what that might be. Invite them to call you gently into that plan when things are hard, reminding you to take a few deep breaths or go for a walk. Maybe you'll write it down on a note card that you can stick above the sink or next to your bed or on the front door where you see it when you leave. Maybe you can set a reminder on your phone that every so often pops up and says, "What are you grateful for?" Or take a breath, or stop and notice. Find a way to offer to yourself the moments of rest that you need, and to have your community help you offer them too. The world is a lot right now. Let's get through it one breath at a time, one small moment of rest at a time, together. Please join us now in singing our closing hymn.
Please join us in singing Comfort Me, hymn 1002.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for
for me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
Beloveds, remember this. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. May you continue to find and create pockets of rest in your life that fortify you and carry you through. Go in peace.